And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today we are going to finish colonizing this magma planet. Now, there's been a few suggestions on how we're going to do it, and we're going to finish this, and we're not going to do it the way you expect. Well, not the way anyone suggested in the comments just yet. To make this place perfectly sustainable, we're going to go the cold route. I want to try and make this place perfectly sustainable with trees, sleet wheat, and fish. I think we can arrange something along those lines. But first off, I want to try and clean up a little bit of this magma here and maybe squeeze us a little bit more space on this side, just so that we can have a cleaner ladder system. This place is looking nice and clean. When it's time to prep some of our tree areas, we're going to be planting trees up here, and I figure we'll just put in a bunch of backing plates made out of all this igneous rock that we're creating, and we'll use this nice little tree area here to provide us with all of our basic resources. This could take a minute or two. Oh, there was a patch dropped recently on the game, and it has resulted in some changes. It probably won't be visible here, but the Atmos suits now have a durability rating. For example, if I hover to that Atmos suit, it gives me a durability of 100%, and as they use them, the durability wears down. We are going to end up with, well, we're going to end up with these, with the duplicants wearing out these suits here. But I think we've got enough time. I've been keeping an eye on the numbers, and I think we should be good, at least for a while longer. Once it starts to become a problem, though, we'll have to investigate going home to get replacement suits. Well, we are going to need some sort of natural tiles to get the pips to plant on. We're going to be using pip planting here. Well, we haven't got the pips yet, but to make the natural tiles, I think we're going to use the good old-fashioned manual airlock trick. If I think we've brought enough iron ore with us, yep. So we're going to plant one of those there. Now I'm going to have to double check these, but as far as I recall, as long as you surround these in something, when you deconstruct them, you build them, then you deconstruct them. You know what, let me do some testing and I can explain it more thoroughly. The plan here is very simple. We surround a manual airlock in tiles. Doesn't matter what type, and then when you deconstruct it, for some reason the game instantly transverts it into... Oh wow, they fixed it. Oh no, they fixed it. Ah, damn it. And also that metal ore fell down there. Well, that's a problem. Okay, so they fixed that turning into natural tiles? Or have I messed this up? Let me do some more experimentation here. We've got the door being deleted here, and... yes, there we go, iron ore. Alright, for some reason when you deconstruct one of these iron ore, or any of these manual airlocks, it turns into a natural tile, and that natural tile is something that pips can plant on. Well, maybe not steel. I don't think you can do it with steel. But most of the door types, so you can make them out of copper, iron, gold amalgam, wolframite, steel of course, niobium, we've got plenty of that lying around, and thermium. There you go, natural tile, done, very simple to set up. Now we just delete all of those. Do bear in mind, you've got to have it completely surrounded. Even those corner pieces need to be in there or it won't work. And yeah, we're going to have to repeat that all the way along. Another option we could do is we could boil a bunch of dirt or something like that, but this just seems like a very simple and easy way of doing it. I've tried all the different ways of creating dirt, and this one's just, or natural tiles, this one's just fast and efficient, so let's go for it. This is actually slowed down quite a bit. We're running out of igneous rock. This is just an awful investment of mass on a place where we don't have a lot of mass to work with. I think we're going to have to start wasting obsidian. We got 91 tons of this stuff, and I prefer to save it for ladders and more heat-sensitive things like insulated tiles, that sort of thing. But we don't really have any options here. As far as I can tell, we're just going to have to bite the bullet and start wasting our obsidian, and hopefully we don't run out before the end. With that finished, we just got to do a little bit of walling in down here, and we're going to have to come in up with some sort of liquid lock. We're going to need the liquid lock because this will be the outside of the base, this is going to be the inside. Though I think first we got to dispose of all this magma. That magma is going to be too much of a problem. You know what, we'll just put that there. Anyway, that will make sure the last of that is sealed in. We'll have to do a little bit at the front. But I'm thinking with this, since there's so much of it, we might end up dumping a bunch of it down here. Just to get it out of the way. I want to get this out of the way so we can finish the base, and the amount of time this is going to take to pour into that, 400 kilos at a time, it's just too long. Yeah, let's get a few bottle emptiers over here. I think we're going to have to go back for a resupply before we get this finished. Reason being, I just checked inside the spaceship there, and the Atmos suits are down to like about, I think one of them's at 3%. We've got a spare suit just in case anything goes horribly wrong. But I wonder if the suits just magically disappear off them if they go below durability. What are you doing in there, Fruit Loops? Your suit durability is 2%. Oh, wow. Okay, 2% is going to be... Right, let's find out what happens when a suit hits 0%. I'll give them a quick follow. So far, the suit seems to have remained intact, but it really looks like it's... Is it just going to... it probably won't disappear off them. It'll probably disappear after they go to try and dock it. But I suppose we'll find out in a bit. The reason I'm dumping it down here instead of using this magma pit for... well, this pit for something useful is... it's not going to be connected to this area, and dupes would have to go back and forth. It'd be more of a storage room or something, so I don't think it's that worthwhile. I would much rather free up this space and be able to integrate it into the base. Oh, at the same time, we're not dumping the magma into space. I dumped some early on into the vacuum of space just so we could get started, but I don't want to... that feels kind of cheaty. I want to actually use this stuff or find a purpose for it. How's their temperature looking in there? 588? Yep, that seems about right for our little steam room. I think Keymaker is about to head back in for lunch. Let's see what the durability is left on their suit. And suture 1%. Oh, come on. You tease. Yeah, I think Motherlode, their suit should be at 2% when they started, so it's got to be about to fall off them. Well, they should be called to lunch shortly as well. There goes Motherlode, all right. They're being called into lunch. Let's just see. Come on, you were at 2% last time. Suit completely destroyed. Automated delivery of the new suit. That's excellent. A worn out suit needs to be repaired. Okay, so you can repair the suits now? Let me check. Maybe, you know what, we'll fire up the crafting table when we get back home. How much... ooh, wow, we've almost filled this place up with carbon dioxide. That's at that level. I think we will use the plumbing ability, and we're going to extract the pipe contents there. We'll get rid of all the carbon dioxide. How much we got? 58 kilos in there already? This capsule I am insanely proud of. But anyway, we will finish this off here. We're just going to get rid of some more of the magma until... actually, I don't think we can. The other suits are about to degrade, and then we'll be left with just one suit. With one suit, we won't be able to do much. Yeah, let's get everyone back inside and get ready to head back home. We'll be back shortly for more management of this area. Before we head back, I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to maybe collect a bit of extra thermium while we're here. Why not? I mean, niobium. So we'll go to the rare materials. We'll select some niobium. Oh, wait, no. I've already got rid of the Atmos suit dock, haven't I? You know, never mind. Plus, it's really hot. We're fine. We're fine. We'll just leave it what we've got. Time to head back home for a little bit of a stock up and see if we can't repair those suits. Godspeed, you little monsters. Oh, checklist is incomplete. What is wrong? Acknowledge warnings? For some reason, the flight path is not clear. I'm going to try deleting the ladder segments. Maybe that's what's doing it. Then crew up again. Do we have to delete that solar panel? Seriously? How? How is that? I suppose it technically is in the way, if that counts as... okay, fine. We'll get rid of this solar panel. Thanks, game. That should be it at last. Acknowledge the warnings, launch. Oh, yeah. All of you head home. You should be fine. And that reminds me, I should really make sure you're going to clean out those pipes. I even stopped them cleaning out these gas pipes just to see if that's what was causing the issue. There's always something that'll grab you. Well, you should be home shortly. You've still got, damn, 4 tons of oxygen left. Very successful. Now we just got to figure out how we can fix these worn Atmo suits, and if we can fix the worn Atmo suits and give them something to take with them next time so they can fix them on the opposite side, we can keep them out indefinitely. Well, until their oxygen or food runs out. I think they have made a change to the flight speed. What the... what? Why did you go that direction? No, you're supposed to be going that direction. It's taking 1.7 days to get home. That's a lot longer. I'm going to have to do some checks on the rockets. I don't think we're going to switch to petroleum, though. So long as we can get back and forward between these two planets, the switch to petroleum is just not worth the infrastructure change. We'd have to export a bunch of petroleum there. Carbon dioxide is cheap. With the rocket returned, I've set the dupes to get out and no longer be crew. We've also changed their beds and dining tables. That's it's a little bit of a change you don't always have to make every time. But the important bit is the exosuit forge here. You'll see there's now Atmo suits worn. We have 2 worn Atmo suits which we just brought back, and it turns out they can be repaired, and all you need to repair them? Reed fiber. That's it. So, when it comes to the new update, if you have an Atmo suit dock, you need to keep yourself an exosuit forge on hand, and you need to make sure that the worn Atmo suit thing is set to forever. And then what'll happen is they'll come back with an Atmo suit. It'll eventually wear out once its durability hits 0. Say there's one there at 70%. Once it hits 0, they'll make it all the way back. They'll go into the dock, and then the suit will just instantly plop on the ground, but it will leave behind the suit outline as in the delivery suit thing, so they'll come along and automatically deliver a new suit. And since you can set this to go on forever, they should automatically replace all the suits instantly. Or, well, they should automatically repair all the suits, assuming you've got the reed fiber to do it. So, Yeah, it just seems to be extra steps for the Atmosuit docks, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. It wouldn't really make it more difficult in the base game, but in this, it does make it a little bit trickier when you've got other planets. It means you got to keep a reed fiber supply around on other planets. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to do something here on the area, aren't we? No, we got some reed fiber in here, don't we? Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll sort something out for this if needs be. We can always transport some reed fiber across this direction. How are the suits looking? Durability, yeah, they're all good. Oh, yeah, they do have to vent all the gas in here. We'll sort that out later. First, let's have a quick look at rockets, because the rockets have changed an awful lot as well. So I maybe got a little distracted and tested a whole bunch of the rockets just to see what each one of them has or the new capacities they offer. But I'll try and keep this brief and sort of concise. What I've done is I've taken each one of them and put a Spacefarer module, one of the really large interior ones, the kind of ones where you can fit in a whole bunch of dupes and make them live out there for a long time, and a nose cone. And just to see what each rocket can hold and their ranges. So that's our baseline. This here is your traditional carbon dioxide engine that we've been using for a while. Rocket speed 1.8, can go 4 tiles. So this is our normal 4-tile one. Now we're going to compare that to the sugar engine, which we know and love, but the sugar engine here also has a range of 4 tiles. That's it. It basically has a range of 4 tiles, but it only moves at half the speed. It does come with one advantage though. That advantage is you can stick on one extra module. So for example, we can stick on a little rover trailblazer, or a little trailblazer module here, and these things will have the exact same range. Of course, this thing will move at half the speed, but it does mean that when you get there, you have a trailblazer module to work for you. As well as that, you could theoretically bring the necessary equipment back with you. So you could bring tons of sucrose with you and a bunch of oxalate inside there, which means you could bring in all your fuel with you and refuel it on the other end instead of having to set up a boiler like we did with this one. Pretty handy, but slow. I still kind of lean towards the CO2 engine. It just feels better. Then we have the steam engine. This thing is weird. Only 150 kilos of steam required to fill it up. Very slow. 0.5 tiles per cycle. That's compared with the 1.8 of the carbon dioxide engine. This thing's even slower than the sucrose engine. But this thing comes with one big bonus. This thing can hold a lot of modules. That's 3 Trailblazer modules stuck on top of that, and it has a range of 6 tiles. So this thing has 50% more range than your standard CO2 rocket, and can carry 3 extra Trailblazer modules on top of it. Just remember that these Trailblazer modules, 2 of them will deploy with enough resources. If you scrap the Trailblazer modules that get dropped on the planet's surface, you can make yourself a rocket landing pad. So this thing is a one-stop-fits-all, long-range, self-landing rocket. You can basically dispatch 2 dupes out of the Spacefarer module inside the Trailblazers. They'll land, build you up your rocket pad, and then you can land your steam rocket on it. Perfect for landing on a new planet. Slow speeds, yeah, that's going to be a problem. 0.3 tiles per cycle, that's incredibly slow. It's going to take forever to get there. But so long as you set up your Spacefarer module correctly and it's for a long-term mission, shouldn't be an issue. Interesting, I like it. Getting the steam to come back might be tricky on a nice planet, but on, say, a magma planet or something like that, bring a bit of water with you. Yeah. Interesting addition. Then we've got your small petroleum engine. Now, unlike your large petroleum engine, which you might be used to, the small petroleum engine actually has its own petroleum tank built in. So you just plug in the petroleum to it. It holds 450 kilos. You have to put in a small oxidizer. Oh, I should cover oxidizers here just really quick. Oxidizers have changed from what you're used to. For example, if you hover over range remaining, you can see fuel consumed per tile, fuel remaining, and oxidizer power remaining. Now notice the way it says oxidizer power. It says oxidizer power remaining 450 kilos. That's actually only 225 kilos of oxidizer though. It seems you only need half as much oxidizer as fuel now. So if you need 450 kilos of fuel, you're going to want 225 kilos of oxidizer. So over here we have 450 kilos of petroleum. We're going to need 225 kilos of oxalate to make that run. However, if you overload it, it doesn't make a difference. If we put in 450 kilos, it won't reduce the range of the rocket. Just good to know. Anyway, but that does mean that this rocket is actually pretty decent. It has 6 tiles in range, 1.8 tiles per cycle. It is effectively a CO2 rocket with 50% more range, so it can reach 6 tiles, and it's quite fast. It's actually quite a good little ship. However, it does come with one downside. Can't fit anything else on it. It is effectively an exact clone of the CO2 rocket, just with 50% more range and the exact same speed. That's it. Good though, I kind of like it. The reason being, you could, say, set up your interior like we did and put in a bunch of oxalate in here to keep your dupes oxygenated, which means you can fill up your oxidizer on the opposite side. Well, in fact, you can carry enough oxidizer in here to run 2 fuel rockets, or 2 runs. To do 2 runs at 6 tiles, And then so long as you carry the petroleum with you, which put a bottle emptier inside here. Actually, maybe we can demonstrate that. I would heavily recommend Atmo suits for this, but you can basically pour the liquid in here and then get someone in to mop it up. The liquid will just stay in here, and then when you fly to the other side, you can basically set up a pit, take the petroleum, and dump it into the pit and pump it into your rocket. So you could carry that petroleum with you quite easily to the other side and fill up your rocket. Quite a nice addition. This is going to make things interesting, and that extra range is going to be really important when they start stretching the planets out to further distances. Then we get to the big mamas. This is the large petroleum engine. Now this one does not come with its own fuel supply, so you're going to need to put on an actual liquid fuel tank. There's only large fuel tanks at the moment. I don't know why they're called large. They're the only fuel tanks at the moment. However, there's an important thing to note here. We'll sort of note it over here. Because of the way the fuel works, for example, this is a large fuel tank that holds 900 kilos. You can use a small oxidizer tank with 450 kilos of oxalite to fuel the rocket. So that works out perfectly, and you end up with a range of, well, 6 tiles, unfortunately, is kind of weak sauce. But you end up with a range of 6 tiles at a speed of 2, and you can carry more modules. So if we go along here, we can actually, there we go. We can add on 2 Trailblazer modules onto this sucker, and this thing can fly 6 tiles, which is amazingly good. Carry a Spacefarer module on top of it and 2 Trailblazers, meaning it can get a rocket landing pad down for it anywhere it goes, and it's got a range of 6 tiles, and it's really fast. Pretty good deal if you ask me. However, just over here we're going to look at if you put on a large oxidizer tank. This thing can hold up to, from 450 to 900 kilos, but it doesn't matter if you fill it up or not. It really does not make a difference, and if we check the tiles remaining here, we actually have more than enough oxidizer for this to work. The only difference is if you put on one of these small oxidizer tanks, the whole thing has a speed of 1.4. If you put on a large oxidizer tank, it has a speed of 1.8. And if you check here, we can of course add in an extra Trailblazer module, and then we can add in one more Trailblazer module. Only difference between these two is this one here travels at 1.3, this one here travels at 1.4 speed. Just because of the size of the the large solid oxidizer on top. Just a good thing to note. So summation, I suppose? Oh, wait, no, I forgot one rocket. The one rocket I forgot is double fuel tank. You can put in 2 large fuel tanks, 1 large oxidizer. Remember, you only need half as much oxidizer. That gives you 12 tiles of range. So it'll move at 1.4 speed, which is about the same as this, which is kind of impressive considering the amount of mass you've thrown on top of here. Can carry a whole Spacefarer module, and if we click the plus symbols here, you'll notice we can stick on a Trailblazer. Only one though. We can stick on 1 Trailblazer module, and this whole thing has a range of 12 tiles. So, yeah, that's pretty damn impressive. This thing can travel 12 tiles, which is enough to get you to most planets and back again, while carrying a Spacefarer module. If you put on one of these solo nose cones, you can go a lot further, but I'm not a big fan of those right now. This was just a little bit of a mess around. The small petroleum rocket holds 450 kilos, but you can also stick on a large liquid fuel tank here, which holds another 900 kilos, and just put on this just to see what we could get. And this thing does have a range of 12 tiles. Just to recap, this one here, the small one, if you don't put on the extra fuel tank, has a range of 6, but by throwing on a large fuel tank and a small oxidizer, you can get this whole thing to go 400, you can get it to go 12 tiles at quite a decent speed, but you can only fit in on a solo nose cone. It won't hold anything else. Let me just put on Trailblazer modules on all of these so you can see the differences between the lot. There we go. I think that makes it a little bit clearer. Here you've got your 4 tiles of range rockets, one of them with the extra Trailblazer module. Here you've got your 6 tiles of range rockets. However, this one is exceedingly slow. So the steam one's very slow but can carry the most mass. This one here can't carry any extra things but 6 tiles of range. This one here has 6 tiles of range, carries the 2 Trailblazer modules, and is actually quite decent. This one would probably be my preferred rocket for colonizing a new planet, considering its range, speed, and its carry capacity. This one here is 12 tiles of range, only carries 1 Trailblazer module, but for that kind of range, it could literally get to the planet this one could get to, drop something off, and then come back again. So, yeah, good update. We'll see what happens when they start introducing the other stuff. Anyway, back to the game before I get even more distracted. Since we've got the whole crew here for just for the time being, we might as well take advantage of it to get some projects knocked out of the way that we put on the long finger. For one, we can get rid of this junk. We don't need this anymore. Also, yes, we can get rid of this. We've decommissioned all of these. Oh, let's maybe not destroy all the piping, Francis. There we go. I've been meaning to get rid of those for a while. I think we're going to seal off the base probably here. We don't need to get out anymore. You know what? We will also put something, a door right about there, and we're going to wall this sucker in. Oh, come on, seriously? Yeah, there we go. We'll put our exit out here, like this, the legs we have. And that way we can chop off across the top here, and it just gives easier access across the top of the base. For the time being, dupes have to exit down here, and to get to over there, they have to go up here all the way across and then down. I prefer if we shorten the distance. Once they're done with all of that, we're going to send them down here and we're going to set up some Slickster ranches. Reason being, the carbon dioxide pressure in here is still going up and it's not going to stop. I'm not sure exactly how many Slicksters we're going to need to run, but Jason's about to find out. Where is Jason? Jason here has been running for a long, long time. Their athletics are at 15, and that's as good as it gets. They've got the anemic trait, which is a -5, and that's permanent. You can never get rid of it. So even though their skill is at +20, it'll never go above that. They're stuck at 15. Well, we'll give them an extra +2 once we get the exosuit training on them, but this is why I dislike anemic. Your dupes are always going to be, well, 5 points slower than all your other dupes. Anyway, let's skip this forward a bit while we do a little bit of a cleanup, and then we'll get the Slickster ranch done real quick. We'll just do a quick sweep to tidy this place up. 2 seconds we'll be done. Wow, that's 39.5 tons of coal in that spot. 22.8 tons. What the... How much coal did we produce? 33.8? 494 tons of coal. I remember when coal was a rare commodity. We may have kept those hatches alive for a little bit longer than I was anticipating. My bad. So a little over 10 seconds later, we managed to clean up that mess. We'll find some use for that space later on. I think the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to pop down here and put ourselves in some Slickster ranches. We should be able to squeeze in 1 or 3 down here. This will be our Slickster ranches. We'll just stick in 3 to start, and we're going to have all the eggs picked up by these auto sweepers over here, dumped into the conveyor loaders, and chucked down here. We're not even going to have an evolution chamber for them. We're going to let them roam in here wild. Actually, put that there. We're going to let them roam in here wild. That way, while they're still being wild, they can, well, still keep consuming CO2. We want them to consume as much CO2 as possible. And even though they'll be wild, they'll only consume 20% as much as a tame one. They should live a long time in there. And when they eventually do pass on from natural causes, we can harvest the meat one way or the other. And also they're in CO2, so it shouldn't be an issue. Though we're going to have to find some way to wrangle up all of those Slicksters down there. That's all... That shouldn't actually be too bad. We can just put in a quick door there, and that should solve most of our problems. There we go. By walling all that in, that should become its own room. Or is it? Yep, that's its own room, so we can put in a critter drop-off there, wrangle all of those up, and dump them into the necessary locations. We can do the same over this side as well. Nice. Alright, let's finish this off. Dupes should only take about 10 minutes to do this. They're very heavily trained at this point. Judy's just dropping off the first of the Slicksters now. We'll have a few more along shortly. Oh, there's another one. I do like the way they get tied up like little bags. It's kind of terrifying, but also really handy. Alright, how are we doing over here? I want to actually get a little bit of space down here. I want to brick this up so all of the petroleum flows into the center. We'll have to put in a pump in here or something to collect it all. Oh, and we're going to need these other 2 Slicksters as well, aren't we? After much effort, we managed to bag that little sucker. They'll go in there, and finally that ranch is up and running. At the same time, our new rancher is going to be just about ready to come online. Where are they? Jason is currently running, and they should have been completely wiped. Skills-wise, yeah, we sent them to for a little bit of a spotless mind cleansing. Alright, exosuit training is what they're going to require. Also, they're going to need their critter ranching all the way up to there. What does that bring them up to? 21 animal husbandry. This is the most powerful rancher I have ever had. Ever. There's just... Yep, that's really, really good. Now, there have been some suggestions to change the name, so I think I'm going to take them. I mean, Jason Momoa was a good one, but for the ultimate rancher, it's got to be Steve Irwin. You know, it's got to be. Steve Irwin, there's not even a choice on that one. Alright, that means they should be good to go. We'll change their priorities so they can then start ranching away. Actually, now that I think about it, we have 2 very powerful ranchers. Fruit Loops here has... Wait, no, not Fruit Loops. It's Judy Hops. She has an animal husbandry of 14. Combine that with the 21. Oh, we should easily be able to run 8 ranches. Do we even have the room for that? Could they make it there in time every day? We could maybe stick in a few more over here. Oh, before we start, we should probably stick in a few incubators just so we can start incubating any Slicksters that come along. We're not going to power them. The amount of power requirements for this would be pretty spectacular. Even with our 10 kilowatts of power, I'm just not bothered. Actually, maybe we could. We're really close. Nope. I'm too lazy. Let's get some more ranches in here. Hopefully you have enough steel to build this all. I did a bit of recycling of our old petroleum generators. I cycled out the steel and replaced it with aluminum. The reason we used to use... Oh, a second, we'll deconstruct these. These were just built to take up the slack. The reason we used steel originally was so that they will have really good thermal conductivity of about 55, which means you could keep them cool. The problem with these things is the hotter you let them get, the hotter the outputs are. So we wanted to keep them nice and cool. For example, I made one here accidentally out of gold amalgam, and it got up to 90 degrees. Whereas these ones stay at their nice 50 degrees, because that's what the cooling loop is set to. We just didn't have aluminum ore when we first set these up, but it definitely makes a difference. However, this whole area is chilled, so the CO2 down here is not very hot. That means we'll end up with regular Slicksters, and I really want to end up with molten ones. So I think what we're going to do is put our extra Slickster farms over here where it's nice and warm. We'll have to make a few modifications here, like I scooped the top off that volcano there. It still can't erupt, but we should be able to squeeze in a ranch right across there. It'll work. So let's stick in 3 more ranches and see how that works. There we go. Another bunch of ranches. That'll bring us up to 8, 16, 24. That'll be 48 Slicksters we can support. We should probably stick in another 3 at the back, but we're kind of low on steel. I think we'll wait until these fill up a bit. Downside is these are actually all coming up to end of life. I think I saw one of them evolve there just a short while ago, so I'm not sure how much longer they're going to live and we're going to get eggs out of them, but we'll have a new crop in soon enough. Okay, with all that done, it's time to load back up the rocket. Oh, printing pod, what do we got to choose from? There's nothing there that's too exciting. We'll just put out some plug slugs. You'll notice this place is pretty much just swarming in critters. I keep printing whatever critters come along because, you know, more free meat, why not? And over here we have a lot of poke shells. Just loads and loads and loads. What I do every so often is I turn off... This is all set to collect all the poke shell eggs. So what happens is any poke shells that are printed, they drop an egg eventually, once they get old enough. Once that egg is dropped, it will automatically get whipped over here and dumped on top of all the rest of the poke shells. And then once every so often, I come along here and go, okay, everyone's allowed to come in and grab the poke shell molts. And because they're on the opposite side of a door, they don't get whacked. And because I've turned this to sweep only, they don't grab all the eggs that are in there and try and dump them on top. So as you can see, yeah, they're just grabbing all the poke shell molts and chucking them down there. I think, is that it? Normally there's more. Never mind, we'll just, we'll call that a win. And then we set this back to sweep only. Done. Before we restock up the rocket though, I want to decontaminate all of our berry sludge. Some of this stuff is covered in germs. I have no idea how it happened, but it's okay. We will drop them on the floor and we're going to sweep them into our kitchen in here. All we do is drop the berry sludge out of there. We set this to sweep only, and we make sure they sweep all of the berry sludge in there. And then it goes in here, and you'll see the berry sludge, germs. Okay, now they should be plummeting properly. There we go. Soon they'll all be dead. That's because there's just a tiny patch of chlorine in there. Ah, the joys of chlorine. Alright, once that's done, we can go about to refueling back up the rocket, cramming it full of food, and getting ready for our next outing. Though we might bring some reed fiber with us this time. We're going to need it because those Atmos suits are going to wear out after a while. Before we send our team back, I'm going to give them a quick scrub first. Might as well make sure that they're all ready to go. For the shuttle itself, we've stocked a few more supplies this time. One of the interesting ones is we've stuck in 20 tons of ice. Yeah, the way I figure it is we're going to need water on this planet, and bringing 20 tons of ice all at once will make things a lot faster. Also, that means we can probably set up some toilets on the other side and start producing some polluted water, which we're going to need for our cooling loops. It can't hurt. We've also taken along a bunch of reed fiber, some Atmos suits, pretty much all the bits and bobs we're going to need. And we've stocked up the deodorizer and brought ourselves a bunch of sand. This entire thing should be completely self-contained, and once we start using the Atmos suits, that carbon dioxide cloud should clear up. We have loaded the rocket up with everything, including a pip. We're going to need that pip to plant the arbor acorns we brought, and to plant the sleet wheat grain we brought. We also took along a couple of spare Atmos suits and a bunch of reed fiber so that we can repair things, stuff for the toilet, the hand sanitizer we don't really care about. If it runs out, it runs out. And all of the food this time should be germ-free, so there'll be far less problems with that. And star map wise, we're already on our way. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while, and somehow we've managed to get to the 30-minute mark already, and I still have not finished this planet. I don't know how it's happened. I think we got distracted with some slicksters or something like that. But next time, no, and we've brought 20 tons of water with us, so I figure what we can do is we can make a water tank down here at the bottom, and that will give us most of our early starting water that we need. And also, I didn't bring the fish. Damn it, I didn't bring any fish with us. Nope, doesn't matter. We can bring the fish next time. Anyway, I'm sorry we didn't get any more done, but it's a little bit slow tackling this planet, it seems. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and Good luck.